Hey guys, Ben here, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Supergirl in the DCEU and her role in the new Flash movie. We've got new details and new teasers to break down, so if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV or DCEU videos later this year. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting news to talk about today in regards to the DCEU, but specifically about Supergirl in the Flash film. But first things first, I want to remind you guys who are watching and who are fans of my channel that my merchandise is now available, and it's been available for a few weeks now. Thank you to everyone who has bought some merch. Currently there are a decent amount of orders out there in the world, already on the way to some of you guys, and in fact some of you have already got it. So I'm going to post a photo on the screen right now. This is Michael. Michael got some merch. Obviously he got the DCTV show hoodie. He chose a very nice color. Plus he also got a t-shirt, and because he got 2 items or more, Michael is going to be getting a special Arrowverse giveaway that's going to be sent to him in the post. I currently have the giveaways and will be sending them very soon to all of you guys who ordered more than 2 items. So I want to remind you guys who haven't ordered anything, now is the time to order something. It doesn't matter what you get. If you get 2 or more items, you're going to win a special Arrowverse giveaway signed by myself and sent to you. You only have 3 days left until the offer is over, so that's December 15th. So go on, get ordering, and I'll be reaching out to you if you do get more than 2 items. So thank you once again for supporting the channel. Anyway, let's go on with today's main topic. So we're going to be talking about something that went down at a Comic-Con recently in Brazil. The Comic-Con event was on the 1st to the 4th of December, so just literally earlier this week and last week, and this is at CCXP. So basically they released some posters which I believe were also merch, and basically it was teasing the new Flash film, but something very interesting was featured on the design, and it confirms a lot of things, especially in regards to Supergirl's role in the Flash film. So as you can see at the bottom, underneath the Flash logo and next to the tagline "Saving the Future and the Past Multiverse." So it says, and if you zoom in, 2 idiot kids, a retired vigilante and a half-charged solar-powered alien. And above that you can see the Flash logo and it says ×2, so 2 Barry Allens. And then you also have the Batman logo from Batman 89, so that's Michael Keaton's Batman. And then beneath that you have the Supergirl logo played by Sasha Calle. So you might be asking, what's so important about this tagline? Like, it's just a fun tagline, right? No, it's better than that. It's more interesting than that, because it directly relates to something that happened in the Flashpoint storyline in the comics. And so if you guys know Flashpoint, this isn't going to be news to you, but for those of you who aren't like fully up to date and haven't read Flashpoint, basically Flashpoint was a story where Barry Allen went back in the past and he saved his mum, but by saving his mum, the entire timeline that Barry was used to completely changed, and it created a Flashpoint version of the timeline. So it was all caused by him, and it's just like this completely dystopian other world. It's been talked about and theorized for a long time that the Flash film would be adapting Flashpoint, but this is 100% confirmation that the Flash film's story is Flashpoint. Obviously they're doing their own twist on it, and you can see that by Michael Keaton's Batman being the retired Batman that you see instead of Thomas Wayne in the comics. So Thomas Wayne is Bruce Wayne's dad, who dies normally in like Earth Prime or Earth 1, and then in Flashpoint with this alternate reality, it was in fact Bruce that's not there, and Thomas Wayne became Batman instead of Bruce becoming Batman. And so the 2 idiot kids, that's obviously the 2 Barry Allens that you saw in the trailer, played by Ezra Miller. So there's going to be 2 different versions, not quite sure how exactly that works out. Maybe it's one from another universe and one from our universe, I would presume. But then the biggest thing that I actually wanted to break down was the fact that it says, and a half-charged solar-powered alien. And obviously you see the Supergirl sign down there, so that is in fact talking about Supergirl. Now, in Flashpoint, and this is very important, Supergirl wasn't featured in the story. In fact, it was Superman who was featured in the story. So Supergirl is replacing Superman from that original Flashpoint comic storyline. And so they're just doing a swaparoo, like they're literally doing the same thing as they're doing with Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, but basically having them both in the same role. So in that Flashpoint storyline, Superman was half charged and he was a captive of the government, and the Flash discovered him during the comic. And so Superman is obviously not the person that Barry obviously knew in the past in the comic. He's actually very much so weakened, and so he's in captivity since probably he arrived from Krypton. So that pretty much says to us that this Supergirl that we're going to meet has probably been in captivity since she arrived on Earth. And does that mean she's never had any of the experiences that we've seen like Arrowverse Supergirl had? Like she never got to grow up with a family or anything like that. She's probably been held in captivity. And so this brings into question, is this version of Supergirl the version that we're going to see again in future films? Or is this just going to be Flashpoint Supergirl? Because it's definitely likely, if they want to continue using Sasha Calle as Supergirl, maybe they actually say, oh look, this was just Flashpoint Supergirl, and the real Supergirl out there is more like Melissa Benoist's Supergirl, because she had this real world experience. Maybe she worked for Catco, I don't know, maybe she's a journalist, basically is what I'm saying. And she has a sister, she has a family, and she's pretty much not been in government captivity since she arrived on Earth as a teenager. And so it confirms also that she is half powered, maybe because, you know, the government is using kryptonite on her, or she also hasn't been able to use her powers and utilize them before. She never got trained if she was in captivity. So that makes sense to why Supergirl would be completely weakened. Maybe when the Flash finds her and breaks her out of her captivity, that's when she can start to regain her powers and kind of train to use them. So I think this is a very interesting twist on the comics, and I like that they are adapting the Flashpoint story in quite a faithful way, but they're literally just like switching the characters but keeping the character types. And so I wonder how faithful they actually stay throughout the entire story. Obviously we saw the Flashpoint storyline on the Flash TV show in season 3, well, right at the start of season 3. They weren't completely faithful. They did kind of have to rush it because they don't have that many episodes compared to what they maybe would have liked to do if they did like a whole season on Flashpoint. But they obviously twisted the comics a little bit, but they still went the same kind of route, you know, Barry running back in time, saving his mum, and then he realizes everything is not as it should be, and so he has to rectify his mistake. And you can presume that Ezra's Barry is going to do the same thing, and hopefully we get to see Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash is pivotal to the Flashpoint story, so I'd be completely shocked if they retcon that. I think that's where they have to stay faithful. They have to keep Reverse Flash and keep him in the same position. But let's go back to Supergirl for a bit. So putting Supergirl in the same role that Superman filled in the comics, that is definitely going to, I think, be a little bit controversial, just because so many people are Superman fans and they probably wanted to see Superman interacting with the Flash. But I think this is a perfect introduction for Sasha Calle's Supergirl, because she gets to train on screen, she gets to become better, and she will reach that point where she's able to, you know, maybe help Barry in some big way to help rectify his mistake with Flashpoint. And you'll probably see her on our Earth when Barry gets back to normal reality that is normal in some way, which is literally what Superman does in the comics. Like, he's freed and then he's able to get his powers back and he's able to assist Barry in order to fix things. I think the choice to actually do this switcheroo with Superman and Supergirl was definitely influenced by the popularity of Supergirl when they were producing it, obviously writing the screenplay and everything. And that's because Supergirl was still on the CW, and even Sasha Calle has been explicitly clear, especially since she was cast, that Melissa Benoist was her #1 inspiration. And considering the popularity, it just makes sense that they would want to capitalize on that, create a Supergirl character in the DCEU, and maybe spin her off after that, or have her in future projects. So I think Andy Muschietti's choice to have Supergirl is a great choice, because yes, they could have got Henry Cavill's Superman, but at that time they weren't sure if they could get him back, because they really don't know what they're doing with Superman right now. Even after Black Adam, they're still unsure. There's still reports coming out that Warner Brothers isn't certain they want to make a Man of Steel 2 and everything like that. But what's going against Supergirl right now? Nothing. Supergirl just ended last year. It was just the anniversary of it ending, and since then she's only really appeared in the comics. There's not been much Supergirl content since then, so why not capitalize on that? And I think that's what the Flash film is going to be doing, and I'm a big fan of it because I'm a huge Supergirl fan. I love Superman, don't get me wrong, but I think the opportunity is right here for us to expand Supergirl further beyond what they just did in the Arrowverse, and create a character for the movies, and get audience members that maybe didn't watch the Arrowverse to be involved in a Supergirl character on the big screen and want more from that. So yeah, that pretty much does it in regards to today's news to do with the Flash film and Supergirl, but I have one more report that I want to go over because it's very interesting. So apparently Walter Hamada, who was the previous head of DC before James Gunn and Peter Safran, reportedly had long-range plans to bring back Henry Cavill's Superman during the build-up for a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie event. So this continues with the Henry Cavill talk, because we've known for a while that Henry Cavill's presence in the DCEU was pretty much uncertain for a long time. And with this report, and again I don't know if it's 100% true, it's kind of just a rumor, although it was reported by the Hollywood Reporter that they wanted to bring back Henry Cavill as Superman in order to build up for a big Crisis crossover event movie. I think that would make complete sense, and I think they're probably still going to build up to a massive Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, because I think that's the biggest story that they can do, like period. That is DC's biggest story, so they have to do that at one point. And considering how big Marvel has gone, like, they got to think about these big event films and a way to make them popular, just like, say, Zack Snyder's Justice League was quite popular in recent years, but like the original Justice League when it came out wasn't super popular. It didn't do very well, and that's why its reputation hasn't been very good. But then kind of the new cut fixed that and has left people scrambling for more of that, like more Darkseid, because we never got the conclusion to the Darkseid story. Like, we were just left with a cliffhanger in that film. So with that in mind, I would say this would be awesome if they did a Crisis on Infinite Earths film, but as of right now, doesn't seem like anything is in production or even in the works to do with Crisis, because this was the ex-head of DC, and now it's a completely new regime. They have big plans, they've been planning them out just like over this last month, since James Gunn and Peter Safran took over as the head of the newly instated DC Studios within Warner Brothers. But yeah, tell me, what do you think about all of this in the comments down below? I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, because this is a lot. Also, I want to remind you guys, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. You can subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you want to get merch from my store, get it now, because you have 3 days, like I said at the start of the video, to receive that special Arrowverse giveaway that I'm going to be giving to those of you who buy 2 or more items from the merch store. Link is in the description below. I'll be sending it and signing it myself. So thank you guys so much for support. For now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.